All right, we are live. I am Father James, and this is the Bailey Protestant YouTube channel. And my guest with us today is Andrew Lowen, the creator of this wonderful game right here. And if you think I am that strong, you are right, although it's empty. I got the full game right here. No, but yeah, he is the creator of Deliverance, a Christian board game, and definitely one of the best ones I have ever played. So how are you doing, Andrew?
Good, really good. Thanks for having me on, Father James.
Sure thing. Everything going well in life?
Yeah. What's funny is, I believe the last time I was interviewed by you was 2021, and since then I actually started to attend an Anglican church, and so it's been funny to it's kind of a small world. Like my
Yeah.
rector knows who you are, and it was just just thought that was cool. So I'm
Oh
doing
yeah, it
great.
is cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. No, glad to hear that. I think we talked a little bit after, and you said that you were starting to attend. I
Mhm.
think probably the same church, but an Anglican church and stuff. So it was like right around that time.
Okay. Yep.
But I think I found out like right after the interview or anything. But anyway, before we continue on, if you do not know, I live currently in South Carolina, which has been uh, upstate South Carolina near Greenville. This area and North Carolina, especially, have been sort of devastated by the recent hurricane. So I just wanted to do a quick prayer for those of us who are in need. The Lord be
Mhm.
with you.
And also with you.
Let us pray. O God, merciful and compassionate, who art ever ready to hear the prayers of those who put their trust in thee, graciously hearken to us who call upon thee, and grant us thine help in this our need, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
All right.
Yeah.
You're wearing your Deliverance shirt. So am I. I'm wearing
I
it also.
am. I am.
Uh,
That's awesome. Yeah,
so
and you're on your
for
mobile device right now, right? Because there's no
Yeah,
power at your church.
yeah. So there's no power at the church, which is where I'm at right now. So I'm using my
Hmm.
cell phone, and I've got it hooked up to a battery in case anything happens. So,
Wow.
although let me see, yeah, it's still got a bit of juice left in the battery. But actually, the place I'm living at actually has energy, electricity, so that's fine.
Okay.
Although the Wi-Fi part is not working so well.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, but yeah, we still had services yesterday. Um, we had a few families come, so that was great. But obviously, people are having to deal with their own stuff and everything. But we still celebrated Michaelmas yesterday.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
um,
Yeah, that's right.
and
Today,
especially
isn't today?
Michaelmas. This is
Yeah.
Saint Michael, right? Yep, that's Saint Michael
Yeah.
right there.
That's amazing.
Anyway, sorry, you were
Yeah.
saying?
The mass. Oh, it's like basically Saint Michael Day. Is
Yep.
that what I
Hmm.
mean? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So the sort of historic term for it is Michaelmas,
Hmm.
uh, kind of like how Christmas is Christmas. So
Yeah.
there are all sorts of uh, cool little traditions that go with Michaelmas. Like you're supposed to eat a goose on that day. You are supposed to. That's the last day that you can have blackberries traditionally.
Uh-huh.
So people will make like desserts with blackberries in them. All sorts of fun. It's a lot of fun little traditions. I love it.
That's awesome. It's
But we
like
didn't get to do
Michael's
it. We didn't
favorite
get to
food is
do
a
any of that though. I'm sorry. Go
goose.
ahead.
Michael's favorite food is goose, and his least favorite
Yep.
food
There
is
you go.
blackberry pie. So
There you go.
yeah.
No, but yeah. So, yeah, tell us how a little bit about Deliverance itself, the board game, because we're going to talk about this, but we're also going to especially focus upon the expansion that is coming out.
Yes.
So, tell us a little bit first about Deliverance itself.
Sure. So Deliverance is so mechanically you play with up to 5 players, and you each control angels. And it's fully cooperative. Takes about an hour or two to play, and it's a ton of fun. It's actually the highest rated Christian board game ever made. It is currently the highest funded Christian board game ever. With the new Kickstarter adding into that, it's pretty awesome. But
Mm,
so with and where it's trending, it looks like it's going to be the highest funded. So if we beat, I think if we hit 323,000, we're the highest funded Christian game ever on Kickstarter.
nice.
But yeah, so I think we actually are at the very highest spot. We're number one highest rated quote unquote religious category board game on Board Game Geek. So
Nice.
it's so user voted and all of that. Where it's award winning and everything. So it's just extremely fun. It's a really, really good game. It's like I look at it like a Christian game has to be a good game. It has to be an innovative,
Amen.
interesting experience. The Christianity in a game like that is like the cherry on top of a really good ice cream sundae. Whereas the quality of the game is like the actual ice cream. I can go without the cherry, but I cannot go without the ice cream. That's not a sundae, right? So you have to have an innovative quality game, but then if it really is a good Christian experience, it's like really awesome, you know? So thematically, let me just introduce the game. So you play elite angels in the army of heaven, and you've come down to this small backwoodsy little town called Fallbrook that is filled with demonic activity. It's not a power center of any kind. There's no mortal of great influence here. And so and yet it's filled with demons. What you suspect is that one of your former angelic allies, now a mighty fallen prince, is leading the armies of darkness from the shadows of this little town. So it's your standing orders ever since the victory on the cross to slay those princes where they stand and send them to the abyss to await their final judgment. But something strange is happening in this town. It seems as though the evils of the mortal realm are bleeding into the spiritual realm and manifesting as darkness. So you have to use more than your sword to survive. You have to cast down the darkness and defeat your demonic adversaries in order to win the game. So that's Deliverance in a nutshell.
Love it. And you put a little bit of the campaign stuff in there, so a little bit of a teaser in that.
Yes, so
I love
you can so you can experience like a story driven campaign which kind of unfolds a really interesting story over 14 missions that you play one mission and read a little story and play the next mission and so on. And or you can just have like what I call the one shot where everybody just sits down, opens the box and plays for an hour or two and then puts it away. And that's kind of the both modes you can play.
That'd be called a legacy game, right? Where you're playing a campaign over multiple sittings, right?
So it's
sit downs. Okay.
The legacy element would be if something was permanently altered. Like if you had to you lost that character, you have to tear it up into a million pieces.
Okay.
Or something. There are what I call there are boxes you can open with secret content that add replayable content to the game. And so I call it a legacy light. I don't know if that's an actual
There you
term.
go. I like that.
Fine. But yeah.
And we're not talking out of anger that you lost, so you're ripping something up. No, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Never playing with this angel again. No. So like you see, like everyone sees, I backed it. We had the video before. We also did. I think we did a live stream of play on it on Tabletop Simulator, if I recall correctly, as well.
Yeah.
And every time I've brought this to the table, we play board games. We're getting a board game group set up at my church here now. But I go to other churches and other houses and places and play board games. Every time I've brought it to the table, they love it. And it's great. And I'm not talking about only just sort of like Christians who are going to be predisposed towards liking it, or at least saying that they like it. People have unabashedly said they like it.
Yeah.
So whether they're Christian or not. So that's something that I think is an extra tag on it. And what you said is really important when it comes to a good Christian game. It's like Tolkien and Lewis, right? They created great literature that is very clearly and obviously Christian, but it's also good literature on its own. It's not good because it points to Jesus. I mean, it is good because it points to Jesus, but that's not the only thing that's just sort of, it's good in that ultimate sense of it actually telling a good story, which the Christian narrative is a great story, the greatest story.
Right.
But it's not this sort of, like you're talking about that cherry part. It's not like a candy coating of sprinkling the word Jesus in here in some sort of hidden way, and that makes it therefore good. It's actually fundamentally rooted in the Christian narrative and shows that in a strong way, if that makes sense. Yeah.
It does. And in fact, I think that a lot of the time in the past, Christians have been exposed to products that you would call Christian products that are more a manner of trying to pull money out of their wallet than actually delivering something quality. It's almost more like an excuse that, oh, this is Christian, don't
Yeah.
worry that it's not as innovative and not as entertaining and not as interesting, and that it's actually a literal copy of something else that exists that's better. um it's Christian, everyone, like
I will not
you
name
have
names,
to.
but there are so many names I want to put.
Yeah, like
Sorry, good.
let's just throw one under the bus. Like, we've got Settlers of Catan. That's
Okay.
a pretty popular game, okay?
Uh,
Why did we need
yeah.
Settlers of Canaan though? You know? Just
Is that a real one? I've never heard of it
yeah.
before. Oh
Yeah, it's
wow.
it's a real, settle the promised land and slay the giants or something. But yeah, it's
Uh,
just it feels like it's just trying to ride the secular market's coattails and make some money off of the sheepish
yeah.
Christians, and that's just not something that I think,
Yeah.
like we Christians, put together the Sistine Chapel, and Michelangelo was
Amen.
one of us, right? And then,
Mhm.
I don't know, you've got so many others like Sir Isaac Newton and
Yeah. Amen.
many other great thinkers and doers. Michelangelo was, I think he was a Sistine Chapel guy, right? And it's just nowadays it feels like commercialized Christianity is to be mistrusted and distrusted by many. And it's not because, I don't know, it felt like Christians and others that were maybe interested in profiting kind of did that. I don't even want to say Christians did that. It feels like other maybe faceless corporations that wanted money did things like that, like Bibleopoly and whatnot. Like who wants to
Yeah.
play this? Maybe when the power
Literally just
goes out.
adding.
Mhm.
Yeah. Literally just adding Jesus to something, like the name Jesus to
Mhm.
something like that.
Yeah.
Like instead of Pokemon, it's Jesusmon. Like, collect all the saints. Got to catch them all.
Yeah. Yes, it's crazy.
And that's such a '90s thing. Oh
Yep.
yeah. So I'm really appreciative that you and others are doing things that are far have actual depth and thought
Mhm.
being put into to make a great product, and not just
Yeah.
a product. It's something that people can gather together and actually play and enjoy and have a good time together.
Right.
And at the same time, it's reinforcing the Christian understanding of how things are, because we don't want to pretend that it just completely ignores the Christian narrative too. That would also there is
Right.
a Christian element in the game, right? But it's just something that is done that even if you disagree, and I've seen
Mhm.
some, and we won't name them, but I've seen some YouTubers who don't like the game, who have issues with it, but not for the gameplay. It's because of the Christian narrative in it. But then
Right.
I've seen even non-Christians who have given videos on the game, and they enjoyed it, and they say, "Yeah, I'm not a Christian. I'm not particularly religious, but it's a solid game."
Mhm.
So you see that gamut with it. So yeah.
Yeah, you find that a lot of people tend to find the they just really really enjoy the theme, and it's not
Mhm.
something that really preaches directly at them. What we do instead is we start with the base of Christ, died, buried, rose again on the third day. That's where we start.
Mhm.
And then we tell a great story with that understanding already, kind of being in the base of the game. So
Mhm.
we don't need to have, let's say, it doesn't need to be about the gospel, because the gospel is the root of all of this. We're going to tell an awesome story with the understanding that the Christian worldview is true. And so somebody who is Christian, we're not we don't need to try to convert a Christian, right? And
Yeah.
that's who I made the game for. So I made the game
Yeah.
for the Christian, not for the atheist that I want to try to make into a Christian. Um,
Yes.
and so what ended up happening as a byproduct of that, we made just the most interesting, innovative, awesome game that we possibly could. And then also infused it in a way with Christianity that you couldn't ever retheme it into like Vikings or pirates or zombies or something. You just can't, with the way that it's made. It's just too hard. So, but what happened was, so Christians loved it because the game was made for them. But then what also happened was that it didn't preach at you. Like when the game has 200 Bible verses in it, it's got tons of just excellent content, lots of what I call Easter eggs for the Christian, things like thematic depth of scripture and whatnot, everywhere. But then the non-Christian, they actually really, really like it because it's a way to connect with one of the greatest lore bases in the greatest lore base in the entire world without actually, um, getting a bait and switch, right? It's like, now I got you, mission 3, you better repent or you can't advance. You just can't go to mission 4. So, it's like,
So before we get into the expansion, which I'm really excited about, I'm backing it. I'm definitely in all the way kind of thing. I want to talk with John the Baptist, who's an acquaintance of mine online. Father James plays video games. It's so over. Well, first of all, this is a board game, not a video game. But yes, I do periodically when I have the time. I play video games. I'm a let's see. I like some of those sort of like, especially indie horror types. What's that card game that came out a few years ago? Inscription. Have you ever played
uh-huh.
Inscription?
No, I never have.
Oh yeah,
But
I love
I
it.
know
Oh,
of it.
oh, you
Twilight?
haven't? Okay.
Yeah.
No. Not. It's a video game.
Okay.
Twilight or Inscription is a sort of horror themed video game where you're playing a card game. It's a fun story. I love it. Anyway, but yeah, Gian. I'm hoping to have Gian the Baptist on my channel one day. He does his own YouTube channel. He's a Baptist, hence the name.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't know if he would call himself a fundamentalist Baptist, but like at least an independent Baptist. But he's trying to sort of revivify, whatever, like sort of revive a love for scholarship and stuff like that within the Baptist tradition. So I'm really appreciative of that. Anyway,
That's awesome.
so yeah, tell us about with if you could, if you don't mind, give as few spoilers about the campaign as possible,
Okay.
just so people who have Deliverance or haven't. I know you're going to have to get into it a little bit. It seems from the expansion, but go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll try to give the spoiler free stuff, because James, I know that you're gonna play through this, and we are gonna reveal some of the prologue, by the way, and I'll save it for another time. But I guess the one point is we are really diving deeper into story this time, and you're gonna have a lot more story to
Good.
enjoy. So you'll see more of the human side, more of the mortal realm happening, more of the angels and demons interacting and whatnot. So, okay, so here's the theme in regard to the expansion.
So sorry. Before you continue,
go ahead. Yeah.
So sorry. Yeah. How about we do this? We'll give a sort of basic, like spoiler free, and then you can go deeper and deeper where as we sort of warn about that. We'll do that.
Okay. You got it. I think I can keep us generally, the major spoilers. So the one thing that would get spoiled potentially is like the way the last game ends, because this one begins right off of the where the last game ended. So you're standing at this portal, and there's this like this kind of a what is this, what's happening sort of thing. So I'll give the kind of the thematic intro to this. So you're still in the city of Fallbrook, and Fallbrook is doomed. The little town of Fallbrook, once haven of demons and threshold of apocalypse, is doomed. Cataclysmic earthquakes have shaken the town to its very foundations, despite the first victory of the angelic host over the darkness. A sinkhole in the wilderness just beyond the edge of town has revealed a castle as old as time and uncovered a new threat. Demons sworn to a secret rebellious sect, the Council of the Fallen. Now, a saint has returned to Fallbrook. Guided by heavenly visions, this one is all that stands between Fallbrook and its annihilation.
Are you there still?
Yes. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? Test. Uh-oh. Father James is...
I'm back.
Okay, you're back.
The last part I heard was a saint has returned to Fallbrook. That's the last part I heard.
Okay, all right. So, guided by heavenly visions, this one is all that stands between Fallbrook and its annihilation. Walking alone and facing insurmountable opposition against forces both spiritual and corporeal, he has few bulwarks against failure except you, his guardian angels. So that's kind of the beginning of this, the story, is that there's this secret rebellious sect of demons that has decided to reject the devil, reject Lucifer as the ruler of the armies of darkness, and they want to set up their own caliphate, their own kingdom, and be worshipped as God, just like Lucifer. And so this is kind of mirrored from if you're familiar with the divine council theory, Michael Heiser's divine council, and there are others that kind of look at that, where you've got God in his council room not needing any help, but involving the angels, and you've got the watchers that decree over the Tower of Babel, the confusion of languages and other things like that. Well, in like manner, I'm like, if there is an angelic council, then divine council, then maybe there's a fallen council. And so that's kind of where this concept came from, is that and some people will say, oh, well, a kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. And my response is that, well, the devil's kingdom doesn't stand. So we can do some really interesting things where the Bible is, we can take good creative license where the Bible is silent in this way. So it's a lot of fun. I can dig deeper if you want, but how's that for a primer?
That's good for the lightest of spoilers possible. Yeah. So if you want to go deeper, that's perfectly fine. Or if you want to go into the mechanics, or either way is fine.
Yeah. So there's so one of the major things that there were a couple of things that we polled our fans, and I don't know if you have seen those polls, but you might have been involved in them as well, where we were like, what do you really like about this game, and what do you want more of, and what didn't you like, and that kind of thing. And everybody overwhelmingly loved it, and I really had to like twist people's arms to get them to say anything negative at all. And so one of the areas that they wanted to see improved was the story, in particular. The amount of space devoted to telling the story was really, really small in the first game. And we did that because we didn't want to make the game this really big, epic story. We wanted to make it more about the actual game itself, the battle. And then the story was kind of like a supporting role to the experience. Well, people really wanted to see more of what's happening in like the mortal realm with the humans, and how the angels interacted with the humans was really exciting, and that was rather limited. And also how the demons, what were the demons actually doing in there. And so we're really going to the next level with the story and the amount that you receive in the expansion. In fact, we're even remastering the first version so that you would get a longer story as well, more story depth as well. But the prologue, to give you an idea, the prologue by itself before you start the first mission is 3 full campaign length pages. It's about I don't know, 1,500 words or so, just the prologue.
Nice.
Maybe more. And it is thick with what's happening in the human realm, what's happening among the demons, what is happening with you guys and your angelic party. And then it digs into the missions a little bit. But in addition to that, we've taken a little bit more severe of a story driven path where you will actually make decisions that will change the ending. So in mission, right in mission 3, you've got a decision to make that is going to change what happens at the end of the game. And so you'll have multiple decisions that will change that path. So you're going to have multiple endings. You've got a bunch of different boxes. You won't be able to open all of them on your first journey through the campaign. You're going to have to journey through the campaign a couple of times in order to see all that it has to offer. And so that's one thing that people really, really were excited about. And the others are like more angels, more of everything. And so we've got a lot of that coming. So that's some of the most exciting, mechanical things about the game. It's we have just a really great system that people loved. And rather than changing, making big changes, we're actually just giving people more. So you've got this amazing variety, tons of new characters to play, new demons to battle against, and other things like that.
Is the expansion modular, or is it going to be like you have to put it all in, or not? How does that work?
It is modular, so you're going to be able to include, like, so you've got your base game, and let's just say you could throw the map tiles in there. You could add in your, the demons, and it will work just very, very nicely.
Mm.
And you don't, yeah. So you're not like forced to use a bunch of new mechanics, or and throw the old darkness board away. You've got a new one now, or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to fit together. It plays really smoothly.
Okay.
So yeah.
So I know you've released images at least of one of the new angels. Do you have any revealed number yet of angels?
We're including 10 miniatures and 9
Okay.
individual angels. So
Nice.
yeah, so we have Ariel and Nezzy, who are kind of a tag
Uh,
team duo of a living creature and an angel that are working together, and they have 2 minis, and that's been pretty fun.
nice.
That's a really fun character. But yeah, so we just revealed Zira, the Faithful Watcher. She's one of the
Okay.
watchers that remained faithful.
Mm.
And she's kind of like she's like Nehemiah's watcher on the wall. So she's got a shofar in one hand and a sword at her hip, and
Mm.
she's very much like, if you're familiar with like Dungeons and Dragons, she'd be like a bard class kind of
Nice.
thing, helping others with her blasts and whatnot. So she's really
Yeah.
fun. But yeah, next one's revealed on
Awesome.
Thursday. So
This Thursday on the social media. I'm on the Facebook page. I don't know if you have any other things other than the Facebook one, or a group. I mean,
yeah.
Facebook group. But yeah, no, it's so mechanically. Uh, is there anything that you can explain about like the additions as far as like how the game goes, without revealing too much? I guess.
Yeah. So you have new. So I mentioned a lot of new things. So there
Yeah.
are demons that you would battle. We are using the opportunity of adding more minions into the game to
Mm.
introduce different types of, ways that they'll attack you. So one of the things that
Mm.
we're missing a lot of things that kind of force the players out of their best laid plans. So we've
Mm.
got one character, the Dark Acolyte, that will actually pull saints to them and knock the players away. So,
Oh, nice.
it's certain things like that are going to be very different. Things that have a range. I mean, this is really granular and into the weeds, but things that have a range of 3 are really
Mhm.
uncommon, and that's
Okay.
something that we've added in. We've also added more of a reason that is going that you're going to have to kind of diversify your strategy. Like, are you going to go this way? Or are you going to go that way? Are you going to do this or that? We've put a lot more of an emphasis on giving players meaningful decisions on the strategic level, rather than just saying, okay, we're going to do this because this round we have a certain set of problems presented, and then next round we'll reevaluate based on what new problems come. So we've added now really an emphasis on, okay, here's our overarching strategy that we're going
Yeah.
for. I hope it ends up panning out. And then also, should we go this way or that way? And
Nice.
it's a little bit of we're doing it through, certain ways are like very on the nose, where it's like, okay, you have this giant like ring and you're right at the top of this ring. You could go left or you could go right. And, that means different things, different bad guys over here than over there. And, which way are you going to go? Because you have to commit to one or the other. You can't decide halfway that you're going to go back around, because these demons are going to start chasing you. And so anyway, it's little things like that are just add that little extra bit of depth, where all of a sudden everything feels so intense, and you're like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness, I feel like this epically powerful angel that's just on the verge of being defeated if those demons catch up to me. So we have to stay ahead of them, guys.
Yeah.
It feels like really fun. And that's
I will
one.
add,
Yeah.
give it.
Go
Oh, yeah,
ahead. Go
I
ahead.
will add, given that is it's really great. I really appreciate that. It seems a lot of care has been put into balance in
Mhm.
the, at least in the original game. Um, I have not won every single time playing solo or playing with friends, but also I've not felt like, come on, like I'm yelling at the game itself or something. You know,
Yeah.
it's got that good balance of like, I feel like if I've lost, okay, it's probably my fault, not, there's no way I can win.
Yep. Yeah,
So I
that's
really appreciate the balance on that.
thank you. Yeah, that's something that we worked really hard to make sure it didn't feel like everything was the samey, like every character feels so different and unique, but they can all kind of handle themselves, right? And Michael does it
Yeah,
in a very different way than Gabriel, right? But they all have the ability to, adapt to every situation and whatnot. They do it in very different ways. And that's one thing that I really loved about my time in particular in World of Warcraft and other MMORPGs, where
mhm.
every character felt so different and so unique. If I play a rogue versus a warrior versus a priest or whatever, all of those things will give a totally different experience. And so I wanted each of our characters to feel so totally different, but at the same time, they needed to be able to handle what the game presented, right? And they do it in very different ways. And I think balance, the term balance is you just don't want everything to feel the same. You have one character that might be
Yeah,
like this, but it's balanced, and then one character that's like this, but it's balanced, right? And so I think
uh,
that just ends up being a more rich play experience for everybody. And it also makes it
yeah,
really hard to quarterback. I don't know, are you familiar with that term, quarterbacking, in a
yeah.
board game?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that is something that can make a cooperative game feel really like one player is calling all the plays and everyone else is just being like
And just
an
telling
extra
everybody
set
what
of
to do.
hands.
Yeah,
What I love about
yeah.
Deliverance is how
There.
you can. Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I think there's a bit of a delay. I'm sorry.
There
But
is
yeah,
you're
no.
a little bit.
In my own experience in teaching, in my own experience in teaching the game, I've just noticed that usually at the very beginning, you got to hold their hand a little bit and stuff,
Mhm.
but then they're starting to come up with their own ideas. And I teach a lot of people different, at different levels, kind of thing. So we're not talking about just like experts, but people who are just kind of new to the board game world itself.
Mhm.
Play nothing beyond Monopoly, and they really they catch on. It's easy to learn, and then they're coming up with their own strategies, and they'll
Yep.
offer an idea to me, and I really do appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that that's one of my favorite things about this game in particular, and the reason that I keep coming back to it to play with my wife and I in particular, because I feel like when we play a game at two players and it's cooperative, I tend to be that kind of alpha gamer quarterback type guy where I'm like, oh, we really need to solve that problem over there, and it's your turn. You've got to do it, or we're not going to win,
Yeah.
and that's just like it's not very fun when you're playing Pandemic, for example. Let's say my wife is
Yeah.
the medic and Buenos Aires has 3 disease cubes on it. And if you don't go there, we're in big trouble. And it's like, I might as well just be playing by myself because, I'm
Yeah.
telling her what to do. And if I just keep silent and wait for her to see it, I still don't feel like there's like a wealth of depth. It's like you can make the wrong choice or the right choice. And that doesn't feel very good in games. It doesn't feel very good in games when you're forced into one decision and the only meaningful choice you can make is a bad one. It's like, did you
Mhm.
not see that was there, or did you see that was there? I like, you can go left or you can go right. Both have their pros and cons, and you're going to have different results based on going left and different results based on
Mhm.
going right. And both of them are good, but you have to adapt to the circumstances based on your decision. And so what's cool is, like you mentioned, you teach brand new people to play, and then after a while they're telling you what they're going to do. It's like, all right, I think you should
Mhm.
attack the guy. It's like, I'm not going to attack. I'm going to pray and then go over here and protect this saint. And and
Yeah.
then you're like, well, okay, I guess that changes what I do then. And that's what I love.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you got the saint. We needed to do that. You prayed and you got rid of that darkness card. We needed to do that. So we're looking good. Good job, and it feels really good when you can just play a game with a group and it's cooperative and you all want to win together. But when you're able to allow people to do what they want to do and let their personalities shine. Like, some people are very defensive and they just want to heal and they don't want to damage anything because that's mean, and they want to pray and support everyone. Even if they have
Mhm.
like the highest damage character, they just still want to do all of that.
Yeah.
And that it works that way. You can do that, and
Mhm.
it's so funny to play with my mom. My mom's playing whatever character, she's just gonna run in and attack. She does not heal. She doesn't keep track of her health bar.
Love it.
Nothing like that. Yeah. And it's so
Gotta
fun
slay
to
them
see people's
demons.
personality. Yeah, exactly.
That's what moms
Get
do
'em, man.
best, they slay demons.
Yep, that's right. So yeah.
So the Kickstarter, it's on Kickstarter, right?
Yes.
I almost said the other one, but Kickstarter is the platform. Tell
Yep.
us a little bit about the campaign then for that.
Definitely. So right now we are I want to say we are on our day number 6 out of 24.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 18 days to go. We right now are raised about just over $256,000, and
Oh wow!
we were at this point 2 days before we ended. Like that was in the first Kickstarter. We were at like 260,000 before we hit our final 48-hour mark. And I just can't believe we're here already. And we have 18 days to go. It's
Wow.
so cool. Like just how people they just love this game, and everybody came out and really supported it. And I'm just super thankful for that. So this campaign is really all about giving the fans what they wanted. You have a really cool opportunity to jump in. You can get all the fancy cosmetic upgrades and whatnot if you missed them the first time, but you can also just kind of get a really good version of the game if it's your first time. So you can grab just the base game if you wanted, and that's $89. You get some extra fancy things. You save like, I don't know, almost $20 just grabbing it on the Kickstarter campaign. You can go all in with the kind of the all in for the gameplay stuff. If you have the first version of the game, you can get everything new, or you can just, you never heard of it before. You're going to jump all in and get every single possible thing that we sell. And that's $259. It's like a big chonky pledge that a lot of people are jumping in just because if it's awesome. Really a good game, so, but yeah, so it's been really cool to see how many people have supported it. We earned Kickstarter project we love. We're right now I want to say the benchmark is $322,000. If we go to 323,000, then we become the highest funded Christian board game in Kickstarter, and actually probably the highest funded Christian project on Kickstarter. So, and we're slated to earn probably around 400,000 if the numbers keep tracking the way that they are. So
praise God.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, to God be the glory. And that's the whole thing with this game. Like the angels aren't seeking their own glory. The demons are. The angels are seeking God's glory. And that's something that just comes across in the actual content of the game, that we've got, we try to separate the what I call inspiration and lore, like the actual, what do we know about scripture? In fact, I have Gabriel's card right here. So like, what do we actually know about Gabriel, and that's the inspiration over here. And then you've got lore, which is just like his fantasy, text over there. And so you've got a lot of what we try to do the original lore base justice. So anyway, but yeah, I get really excited about it. Really excited. Gotta hold myself back.
Same here. I was actually going to ask, other than Christine, who is your favorite angel?
Oh, I love Azrael. Azrael, the angel of death. I don't know
Azrael is good. He's my favorite.
Character. Yeah, he's so fun. I'll say in the newest expansion though, the latest character we revealed, her name is Zira. She is so fun to play. So really fun to play.
Yeah, I think I played Azrael last because he's on top right here.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's actually a really good healer.
He is, yeah. I do like Angel of Death kind of stuff though. So that, but St. Michael is also a favorite of mine. I do tend to go more kind of tanky too at times. So.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we have 18 days left, right? Until the campaign ends.
Yep.
And so you're already fully funded.
Yes.
You're already fully funded, right?
Yep. All right, so the project is going to be.
We're right now wanting. Yeah. So, but we're already now so it's already assured, but we want to push it to make it just the highest, at least Christian board game out there. Do you mind saying what holds the record right now?
Oh, it's Ezra and Nehemiah that raised $322,000 on Kickstarter. It's a board game called Ezra
I
and
don't know it.
Nehemiah. Yeah, it's all about Ezra
Yeah,
and
I
Nehemiah's
don't think I played
return
it.
to. Yeah, so it's like a really heavy Euro game. So if you like,
Okay.
yeah. So, but it's I think that the so one thing maybe the folks watching would want to know is
Uh-huh.
why put more money in addition to the fact that obviously you get a copy of the game, which is fantastic, and you know if you want
Yeah.
to get one for yourself or to get one as a gift for one you love, then it's a really easy decision. But the
Yeah.
game itself becomes better with more funding because we unlock what we call stretch goals. They, you know, like we have if we raise $5,000 more, we're going to spot varnish the box so that all of the golden parts are going to be foiled. They're going to be just like beautiful,
Yeah.
like
Nice.
UV spot varnish and reflective and whatnot. We have new cards and new characters that we're adding and whatnot. So just as we increase, the Kickstarter audience is really wizened up to if I give money to you and you raise a lot more than you needed, then you get better pricing for ordering more units at the same time. So your manufacturers are going to charge you less per unit, and we expect that you will put some of that savings back into the game to make it a better version of the
Yes.
game for us. And so we're adding new cards and new components and new upgrades to the quality of the game and other things like that. Um, and so that's a huge reason to support you know if your people are thinking like I'd like to support a worthy Christian initiative. Like we have people that have repented and accepted Christ over playing a game of Deliverance. It's really amazing. That didn't expect
Well,
to.
praise God.
We've had accidental
Yeah.
evangelists that have brought the game to game night, and it's pretty cool like to see these testimonials. So um yeah, so that's
Well, I have seen at least publicly some people get upset about certain cards because they expose
yes.
certain sins. But
Well, that's the thing. Like we can't kowtow to anybody that says
amen.
we don't want you to espouse your Christian beliefs. We would rather you
Mhm.
hail Caesar. And I have to just stand firm on what I know is
Amen.
good and what I know is right. And that means that I've been victim of cancel culture and will probably continue to be. But as long as there are good Christians that are willing to stand up and support a worthy project like
Mhm.
this, I can keep going. Whenever
Yeah.
I find what's so cool is like whenever in the Bible somebody prays and asks for help, God sends people to be the source
Amen.
of relief. And oftentimes, my prayer is answered by someone and I'm able to help them in some way, with whatever it is that they're going through because they were connected to me or I was connected to them and we all kind of answered each other's prayers. It's a
Praise God.
really amazing thing, but just God is the author of such amazing, I don't know what to call it, interwoven fixes to problems. And
Mhm.
so, I'm really seeking Christians that are willing to support a worthy project that brings glory to the kingdom, that is extremely fun
Mhm.
and really, I find, first refreshes the hearts of the saints. It educates people about
Amen.
spiritual warfare. It takes that very seriously, but it's not something that's like Jumanji where you open the box and you're like, I need to finish the game or we're done for.
Yeah.
It's something that is something that will build a Christian's faith, and
Yeah.
also
And
yeah,
yeah,
go
I
ahead,
do
go
want to
ahead.
add to that because I wasn't wanting to bring up any particular things that have happened within the past year or so. But I do appreciate that at the same time, the while the game is not preachy in the sense of like it's a chick track or something, it's it is actually not compromising in the faith at all. I haven't found anything I'm like, oh, well, I don't like that in there, kind of thing, or I don't know why this was put in, or why did he word it that way, or anything like that. It is actually fundamentally Christian and thoroughly Christian, um, but it doesn't get into a sort of cringy sort of preaching sort of mode. But then it neither is a weak need. It's I mean you know it is an actual Christian game, so I
Yeah.
really love that. as a pastor myself. So
That's awesome. Yeah, I find it's so cool that we have Deliverance now, just as a thing. I'm a big fan of the game, and I feel like yes, I made it, but I do feel like the plans were in heaven, and they just kind of revealed to me bit by bit. And so it's hard to take credit for something like that. So the fact that Deliverance exists, I'm so happy that we have something that's actually, I feel, is best in class for what it is. There's no other tactical skirmish combat, like kind of RPG in a box, that does what Deliverance does, regardless of the theme. I think Deliverance is the absolute best version. And also, the high rating, it's like the highest rated Christian game ever made. The high rating shows that a lot of other people agree, non-Christians and Christians alike. But then you add the fact that it's a unashamedly Christian game, and it's like I can't believe I have this, like I get to actually play
yeah,
this thing. And it's just really good on its own, but it's also Christian, which is it's I don't think I can't think of any other games, or very many other games at least, that are good and also Christian, just innovative on their own, but then also have like an appropriately, sometimes you have games that are good, but that the Christian theme just feels kind of pasted on, like it could have been something else. It's like, but they wanted it to be Christian, so it was. And I feel like Deliverance just couldn't be
yeah.
anything else. You know?
No, yeah. I could maybe imagine some sort of fantasy setting, kind of that it could be,
Mhm.
uh, but like some sort of, but like even that is fundamentally Christian.
It
I
would
mean,
just be allegorical
you know,
Christian, right?
it'd just be allegorical Christian stuff. I mean, like you could maybe change some of that, but like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, it would still be Christian fundamentally at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think I have the link below. If I don't have it there, I will put it in right away, but or as soon as I can. But the campaign is you look on Kickstarter.com,
Mhm.
and it is Council of the Fallen, or you put in Deliverance, Council of the
Yeah.
Fallen, right?
Yeah, you could just search
All right.
Deliverance on Kickstarter and you'll find it. It's really easy to find at this point. It's like one of the top games on Kickstarter this week. And yeah, so if you just Google Kickstarter Deliverance, or Deliverance board game, or a lot of things, you'll find it. You'll find our website, you'll get there. And yeah, just the Council of the Fallen Kickstarter is live until October 18th. We end the funding round at that time, and it's right now, it's like the best prices ever. You pretty
Yeah.
much save, I mean, if you went all in with for every single thing, you save like $110 off of what it'll cost you later. And so it's really like a reward for you guys supporting me. You get the absolute best price, and I get the ability to gauge how much demand there is and raise the funds to actually go print the game, which is a huge blessing to me. So I'm able to give the
Mhm.
game for a whole lot less in regard to the cost. So yeah, if you like the idea of slaying demons by the righteous power of God, then this is the game for you.
All right. Any last things before we log off and all?
Man, I am just thankful you had me on. I really appreciate you.
Mm.
And yeah, definitely
Yeah,
be
sure thing.
praying for you. That
Likewise.
that that hurricane was no joke. That hit us hard.
Oh yeah, it's just the demons and the angels fighting.
I guess. Sheesh.
Yeah. No. Oh, one thing before we head out. One of these days we do. Well, I mean, we've played Deliverance together, but like virtually.
Yeah.
Back on.
Oh,
You see me?
yes, back on. I got you.
All
Yeah.
right.
I hear you now.
So yeah, one of these days we do need to play in real life, even though you're in Texas and I'm in South Carolina. One of these days, one of my other loves is Twilight Imperium. I do need to get you onto the table with that one
I love that. I have played it once and
day.
I got shredded, but I had like 4 points at the
What
end.
faction?
I can't remember now, but I remember if I saw it, I would definitely remember. But I remember I had the opportunity to completely decimate the dude that had 9 points. And it was
Uh-huh.
6 hours and 45 minutes in after we had taken our lunch break.
Huh.
And if I could completely wipe him off the map entirely, he would not have
Wow.
won if I did that.
Uh,
And I elected to leave like a ship alive so that he could win. Um, So that was the end. There was a guy that would just wanted so bad to end. He wanted it to be over. He was like smoking cigarettes every time it wasn't his turn. He would go out and smoke a cigarette. He was like, I hate this game. I just want it to be over. It was so funny, but I really enjoyed it. I really liked that. I was like, that was a really cool experience. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm teaching that one to a few parishioners in the next few weeks. Yeah.
That is amazing.
All right. Thank you very much, Andrew. And again, look for it on Kickstarter.com. It is Deliverance, Council of the Fallen. Go ahead and get your own copy procured. And hope you all have a good day. Stay safe and God bless.
All right. Thank you.